Alright, hello everybody. This is going to be a very different kind of video that I am making today because I am not using a script. This is all off the dome. I am just coming up with this completely off the dome, albeit there will be obvious jump cuts as I collect my thoughts. But essentially this video is going to be talking about the Custodes situation. I'm weighing in on the Custodes situation. Sozin's weighing in. This video is probably going to be longer than my usual videos because usually I like to cut them down, make them nice and concise. I'm going to try not to have too many digressions, but we'll see. I'll probably go on a few weird tangents. So we'll see. But getting right into it, I made this video in the first place because of this video of a newcomer to 40K talking about his experience, or not his experience, but his viewpoint on the situation. And I think it's like a breath of fresh air when you hear a layman talk about Warhammer 40K. What do I mean by that? That's not to be like denigrating in any way. What I mean by that is both sides of this debate have all these mental gymnastics, and it kind of becomes a headache. And some people are making weird points where it's like, okay, it's not that deep, you know. I don't mean to discount the situation either, but some sides are just saying the craziest things. And I'm like, once you hear a layman talk about it, and what I mean by layman is someone who is just recently into the hobby, you know, they're new and they're using, you know, baseline knowledge to reach baseline conclusions. And I think that's the cornerstone of the debate, really, is there was something that was set in the past and we're going to follow it in the future. You know, you set my expectation, we're going to follow in the future. I'm gonna talk about what I mean by that soon, but essentially this video inspired me to make my video, and it's a pretty good video. So I wouldn't say I'm a newcomer per se. I'm not gonna say I'm an old timer either. My buy-in comes mainly from being in the hobby since around 2018. And the reason I would say that I am not a newcomer is because I entered during I kind of entered towards the end of kind of the mythical era of 40K when it was real underground. Like, well, okay, maybe I'm pushing a bit. But, you know, it was not as wide stream as it was now. And I think that's an objective fact because of the 2020 lockdowns. You know, when 2020 hit and they had the pandemic and the lockdowns, people were inside, people were exploring all these hobbies and science and math and physics and philosophy, doing all sorts of weird shit in their basement, and they learned about Warhammer 40K, and it was very cool to them. And that opened the floodgates to a lot of new people. So I was kind of in before these floodgates opened and Warhammer became super ultra popular, etc., etc. So that's kind of my buy-in. So I've been in to the hobby for a little bit, you know, more so into the games and the lore over the tabletop, but I did dabble in the tabletop a bit in the past few years, but I'm not heavily into the tabletop because I just don't have fucking time for that shit. It takes a really long time, and I actually don't know how people do it because it's super expensive as well. So I'm really shocked that the tabletop is even still alive, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, I'm already off to a bad start. It's like 4 minutes into the video, and I haven't even talked about the main point. So I'm gonna get to the main point. I'm gonna get to the main point. The main point is I keep hearing this self-defeating argument regarding the Custodes. That is just ridiculous. This isn't a pro or anti-Custodes video. Well, I guess you could walk away with a certain opinion or walk away with what my opinion is. But really, that's not the point of this video, although that might be the byproduct. My point is that there's a self-defeating argument that it changes nothing. That the lore change, that there have always been female Custodes, changes nothing. Why do people keep making this point? Why do people keep saying this? It makes no sense. It's a self-defeating argument. These people, it makes you look like an idiot whenever you say it because it's so self-defeating. Let's define some terms first, okay? Just before I continue, I'm gonna call the pro-female Custodes. Let's just call them pro-femmes. I've just made that up on the spot. That probably it probably sounds weird. It can be conflated a certain way, but we're gonna say that pro-femmes, and then we'll call the anti-female Custodes people chuds because I think that's a funny thing to say. I just think that I've always thought the word chud was funny. But yeah, that's what a lot of people call the anti-Custodes people, are chuds. So we'll say that. And the pro-femmes always like to say it will change nothing. What do you mean it'll change nothing? Shouldn't you at least take the argument that it will change something because it will be to the benefit of the lore or the world building? Shouldn't you say, yes, it's going to change something for better for the purpose of the retcon? It's going to change something for the better in the world or the lore, or hell, even the meta, to make a certain meta thing make sense, or something ridiculous. Come up with something, but it's just so lazy. And that's why I think this change has been so poorly received, because you don't even have the support of the moderates. I know this is turning into a political sounding spiel. I'm trying not to have that happen. Okay, so this is just a hobby discussion. This is not political. I'm trying not to make it political, but it's also steeped in a political tone. But yeah, it makes no sense, because if you change nothing, why did it have to change in the first place? Because if it's not for in-world reasons, then that means either A, Games Workshop is just making arbitrary changes, which isn't good. They're just doing shit. That means we could just do whatever. Let's just do whatever we fucking want. Let's just do whatever. It doesn't make any sense. Or B, if it's not for in-world reasons, if the change doesn't matter for in-universe lore, you're doing it for out-of-universe reasons, in real-world reasons, which is also bad, because now, it just proves the chud's correct that you're doing it for political reasons, to be politically correct. So, which one is it? It's obviously for. I do believe it's for, like. Okay, listen. This is a Sozen take. Okay, Sozen take incoming. It's not that deep. It's for money. They're doing it because I think they're just trying to garner favor with Amazon, because they're trying to make a lot of Amazon stuff. They're trying to go big. They're trying to go the Star Wars route. Guys, if you haven't hopped off the Warhammer boat yet, I would, because it's not going, it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse. But they're garnering, I watched a Sargon of Akkad video. This is going to be a tangent. I watched a Sargon of Akkad video where he's like, Games Workshop, they're ripping their skin out because they hate themselves. They hate themselves so much, and they are adding femstodes to atone for themselves, atone for their sins of having only female or only male factions. He's saying some crazy ass political shit. I'm like, dude, it's not that. I really don't think it's that deep. They're just trying to garner favor. Okay, that's all they're trying to do. They're trying to garner favor with Amazon, because that's how Amazon they want that stuff. They have an image. Sargon of Akkad talking about it's some crazy giant battle of the culture war. I guess maybe, but he was what was the term? What's the term called? I had to look it up. Flagellation. Essentially saying GW has some guilty writing staff, and they're doing this to feel woke. Again, I don't even want to say that word in this video because it just makes my skin crawl. Not because of the reasons you may think. It's just because it's just a buzzword I hear. It's just buzzword. Used by both sides. It's I don't want to hear it. But it's not that deep. I really don't think it's that deep. I think that GW is just trying to garner favor with Amazon. Or just garner favor with not just Amazon, but just the wider. They're trying to enter the sphere of mainstream. That's what it is. I know that's a common talking point, but it is literally that. It's for money. Is that a good thing? No, I actually don't think that's a good thing, because now you're sacrificing what you've built up over 30 years and essentially abandoning your fan base that had trust in this lore for 30 years to go mainstream. I don't think that's a good thing. You know, you have all these you have these Warhammer pages or YouTube accounts who are super just rotten, and they're like, well, money talks, and I'm like, you're okay with this, dude? You're okay with like this corporatism way of thinking? You know, it's not a good thing. You know, it's like more money is better because they can make more models, and I'm like, dude, this shit isn't getting cheaper. Isn't that the crazy thing, that Warhammer's been getting more popular, but the prices have only gone up? I'm sure there's some economic nonsense to that, or I don't know. There'll be some shill out there who'll be like, well, it's because of this. You know, it's ridiculous. Okay, I had to pause because I'm going way off track. This is why I have to have a script. Okay. So the point that like it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's ridiculous. If it could at least, if it did matter, you could at least make the argument, like at least say, okay, it does matter. It does change something. It does something in lore. You know, it introduces a certain person. Hell, even like, I don't know, like I'm playing devil's advocate because I'm against it. Sorry guys, I'm a chud. Sorry, so's an official, officially declared, self-declared chud. Sorry, I'm against it. But I'll play devil's advocate. Like I would come to I'll come to a compromise. I don't see how this was the only course of action they could have went. Like they have a writer's room for a reason. It could have been like, there's a certain faction within the Custodes that are originally female or something like that, or there's this noble house, or there was this High Lord on Terra that only had daughters, and he wanted to be part of the Custodes, the Emperor's Custodes, and so he gave his daughter something. I don't know, guy, like do something better. And that's kind of like where the moderates are at. They're like, they really, there's nothing you could have said. And then the people who are pro-fem are just like, well, changes nothing. And that's the pro-fem side arguments are terrible, because they come down to two things. One, you know, it changes nothing, that's kind of the point of this. I don't even know why they say that. It's ridiculous. And two is the you're a chud. You don't like women. Which, you know, like that's probably their only viable argument, because there are probably people on the chud side who genuinely don't like women and hate women. And yeah, there's maybe, you know, there's probably a percentage of them that actually genuinely don't like women. But you know, that's only a half good argument, because not all the chuds hate women. You know, some people genuinely have an issue with the lore being out of whack and being stomped on, and it doesn't make any sense. A third thing I just thought of, I looked at my notes, is this reductionist thinking of the pro-fem side. The reductionist thinking. You have people who have been in the hobby for like 20 years. And then they're like, dude, it's a toy soldier game. What? Seriously? That's your defense? In the context of this argument, you're just gonna like do some like meta thing and then just be like, well, the argument itself isn't really that serious, so like you're actually the chud because you're worrying about it too much. What is that argument? Like, if someone ever comes to you like that, fucking dox them. No, don't do that. If someone ever comes to you like that, you just fucking block them, or not even block them, just say fuck you. Okay? That's such a ridiculous way of defending your point, is just because it's so vile. It's such a vile thing to like degrade someone like that, and you yourself are in this hobby like thousands of dollars deep, years deep, and then you're gonna say, dude, it's just a toy soldier game, dude, it's not that serious, man. Hey man, like just put all the helmets on. It's like, but we're arguing within the context of this universe, you know, like we can have a serious discussion about something that's not serious if we both agree to it, you know, and you obviously agree to it because, motherfucker, you made a video about this shit, but you're gonna go on Twitter and shit and be like, hey, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's just like, some of these guys are like out of their mind, in my opinion. Yeah, this page isn't a Warhammer page. My YouTube channel is not a Warhammer page. I just like kind of do what I want. But sometimes I hear things and I have to make a video about it. That's why I made my Skyrim video, because I just hear these opinions that these people have, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, how far gone are you where you reach that conclusion? Like this Arbiter Ian guy, this is another tangent, but he made this video about the Imperium is evil, which is like, okay, bro, holy eye roll. And then he had this great idea. He had this scheme, this grand idea of Imperium Secundus being so cut off from the main Imperium that it splinters or some dumb shit, and then you would have other human empires showing that there's another way of life in Warhammer that's possible. Whoa.
New republics. Some of them fall without the support of the Imperium, just as the Imperium always said, but loads of them do just fine. Suddenly the great lie of the Imperium is exposed. Maybe it isn't the only way.
What a retarded idea. Are we serious right now? It's the most like non-Warhammer thing you could have said. It's just like stuff like that, and of course he's a pro-fem. And he's gonna say stuff in his pro-fem video like, those are the kind of nerds we don't prefer. And it's like, dude, seriously? Warhammer, like, dude, like, just when I say the word, I imagine nitpicky nerd. Like, GW should have anticipated this. Like, this isn't Star Wars, this isn't Star Trek, you know, this is Warhammer. And so when you have this reductionist mindset where you're like, you know, it's just toys and stuff, it's like, okay, I don't really think you're a true fan, because this is the hobby of, you know, thousands of lore points and little nitpicky things and theories and all sorts of stuff. And while a lot of stuff is left to interpretation, which is what GW should run with, now that I'm thinking of it, why don't they just run with the open interpretation they've left and create another vessel by which female representation can be achieved? You know, they left so many things open to interpretation, but they go ahead and they throw away what they've done in the past by creating Custodes. Anyway, while a lot of stuff is left to interpretation, you attack this set thing that isn't left to interpretation, and then you retcon it in the laziest way possible. You know, yeah, that's my way in on that. They could have even went as far to, like, I don't know, like one of the Lost Legions. Whoa, it's actually all female. Like, I don't know, something ridiculous like that. I don't know. That would be insane. Look, guys, like I said, if you're still on board and trying to follow along with Warhammer, you got to leave, because it's going to get sillier. You got to be ready for it to get sillier. It's going to go, you know, I'm sorry, but that's just what's going to happen. As I predicted, this video's runtime is very long. But if anyone actually watches this in full, let me know what you think. Let me know if it's a good format to go with. I'm thinking maybe it'll be supplementary to my usual videos. So, but yeah, if you're like pro Custodes, cool. Just stop saying like it doesn't change anything. Like, you have to come up with a better argument. That's the moral of this video. That's the moral of the story. Okay? Please, thank you. All right, per usual, I hope you found this video resourceful, insightful, and engaging. Take care.